Mumbai suburb turns into a language war zone. Massive street protest as MNS flexes muscle. MNS protesters rounded up, whisked away by the cops. BJP's MP muscles in, takes on the Thackeray's.
यदि बहुत बड़े बॉस हो तो चलो बिहार, चलो उत्तर प्रदेश, चलो तमिलनाडु, तुमको पटक पटक के मारेंगे.
Is the Marathi language showdown aimed at the upcoming Brihanmumbai civic polls? The Mahan language war. Top focus on 5 Live. Good evening and welcome to 5 Live. I'm Pooja Shali. Ladies and gentlemen, you must have seen in the past few days the so to say a Marathi language war. Is it simply about the language or is it an election agenda as well? That's what we want to look at this evening. Mumbai suburb turns into a language war zone. Massive street protest as MNS flexes muscle. MNS protesters rounded up, whisked away by the cops. BJP's MP muscles in, takes on the Thackeray's.
यदि बहुत बड़े बॉस हो तो चलो बिहार, चलो उत्तर प्रदेश, चलो तमिलनाडु, तुमको पटक पटक के मारेंगे.
Is the Marathi language showdown aimed at the upcoming Brihanmumbai civic polls? The Mahan language war. Top focus on 5 Live. So our top story on 5 Live this evening is from Maharashtra. There's an escalating language war. Several members of the MNS were even detained this afternoon during a protest march that they took out in Thane. And then there were the traders as well. There were from other outfits, a massive protest that happened in different parts of Mumbai and Thane. As we look at these visuals on our screens, this is what unfolded. Traders were angry at the assault on the shopkeeper. MNS wanted to come out and showcase the Maratha pride that they are the political outfit that are protecting the sanctity of the Marathi language in the state. While there were from the ruling party, the ruling alliance, also from the opposition, different groups that had gathered in different parts of Mumbai and Thane to basically reflect they are the ones speaking up for people. As we look at these visuals, is it as much about the Marathi language or is this about specifically, possibly, the Brihanmumbai municipal elections that are coming in? So look at these visuals on the screen. What do? Basically, the focus was Mira Road. Mira Road, remember, was where exactly the incident had happened of the shopkeeper being assaulted and being asked by the MNS workers, why doesn't he interact with in Marathi language if he's in Maharashtra? So we are looking at the MNS workers who were detained this afternoon by the cops. They were taken away. The political representation from the ruling alliance had a lot to say, especially from the Bharatiya Janata Party. So we also saw a BJP MNS face-off as well in Maharashtra. You're looking at MNS workers and the cops. They had a face-off as well near Mira Road railway station. Then the Sena also jumped in. This is the Sena, the Shinde Sena also that came in and decided to protest not only on the ground, and we'll go across to our colleagues as well who've been reporting from different areas. Divyesh Singh joins me from Mumbai right now. Divyesh, is the protest over? Has it concluded? And I want to understand, have all protests concluded? What exactly unfolded in Mumbai, Thane this afternoon?
Well, Pooja, the protest is over.
Okay.
It's been around an hour that the protest got over. And MNS party workers, MNS leaders, along with some leaders from the Shiv Sena UBT party and also the supporters of both the parties had gathered. They had asked for permission under a committee called Marathi Ekikaran Samiti, and they had this was planned. This protest rally was planned after. Remember last week a business shop owner from Mira Road was attacked by MNS workers and videographed. The whole incident was videographed also by them while they hit him for not speaking in Marathi. After that, the Traders Association and Retail Shop Owners Association from Mira Road had carried out a protest rally against the attackers. Following that rally, this application was made where Marathi Ekikaran Samiti also demanded that they be allowed to carry out a rally. The route that they had decided, for which permission had not been given by the police. Police had asked them to change the route, but they were adamant on taking the same route. Citing law and order problems, police initially declined and denied permission to them. CM Devendra Fadnavis and some Shiv Sena leaders also spoke or communicated with the Mira Bhayandar police, after which the permission was given, but on a changed route. So the route was changed and the MNS leaders who were detained or the detainees were then released. They all joined the protest and carried out this protest near the Mira Road railway station, which went on around for say 3 hours.
I want to understand this, Devesh. So there was this Marathi Morcha on one side, then there was a protest against what they've said was MNS Gundaism, targeting innocent shopkeepers. BJP has escalated it with their own political showdown. Is this all in the backdrop possibly? Because the BMC elections are coming in. They're expected this year. Let's get this straight. How much of this is about language? How much is also this about survival and staying relevant in the election discourse?
Well, Pooja, you've raised some very important points over here. There are BMC elections coming up. BMC, the richest civic body of the country. Then there are civic body elections in the satellite cities as well. In Mira Bhayandar, Vasai Virar, Kalyan, Dombivli, Thane, Ulhasnagar, everywhere there are civic elections which had not been held since 2022. So all these elections are going to happen. So it is again a very important period for all the political parties, especially for the regional parties.
Especially for the MNS. Yes, go ahead, finish your point.
Whether this is a new thing that has come up, but the language politics has always been there in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, and the issue keeps coming up every now and then, especially during elections. These topics are taken up by political parties, and this might help them ensure a certain vote bank for all the parties.
And
either it is the Mumbaikar, either it is the Marathi.
It's clearly about sentiments as well. It's after all, it's about pride, it's language, it's understandable. But how it has brought in the MNS is very interesting. Neither with the ruling alliance, not technically opposition as well. But clearly right now, a massive chunk of the debate and discussion that MNS has become. Let's take a look at this report about what exactly happened in Mumbai, Thane, other parts of Maharashtra this afternoon. Devesh, thank you very much for now.
For the past several weeks, MNS workers have been making news for the wrong reasons. Assaulting North Indian labourers and vendors after they expressed their inability to converse in Marathi, Maharashtra's native language. But the breaking point has been this incident from earlier this month, where a food stall owner in Bhayandar area was slapped by some MNS workers for not speaking Marathi. The video of the assault went viral, triggering widespread outrage among the trader community. It led to a tit-for-tat face-off on Tuesday when several workers of Raj Thakrae's party were detained during a rally to counter a protest staged by traders in Maharashtra over the assault of a food stall owner for not speaking Marathi. Protests at Mira Bhayandar area brought Thane district to a standstill, with heavy police deployment and road blockage affecting traffic movement. Despite no police permission for the rally, on the route, MNS workers planned to march to Mumbai. However, the swift detention of MNS's Thane and Palghar heads and other leaders derailed the party's plans.
The large number of MNS workers were gathered here. The situation was getting out of hand, and this was not a very legit protest according to the police, which had not given them the permission. And that's one of the reasons why, the detention of these people took place in large numbers. And protest किस तरीके से आगे बढ़ेगा?
प्रोटेस्ट आता आम्ही तिकडे चाललेलो आहोत. तिकडे खूप मोठ्या संख्येने मराठी माणूस एकवटलेला आहे. त्यांचं अभिनंदन करण्यासाठी आणि त्यांना पाठिंबा आम्ही चाललेलो आहोत.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis says MNS workers did not follow permitted route.
इस प्रकार के प्रयोग यहाँ चलेंगे नहीं. जो मराठी आदमी है वो बड़े दिल का है. मराठी आदमी कभी छोटा सोच नहीं सकता, कभी संकुचित सोच नहीं सकता. इसलिए कोई प्रयोग करने की कोशिश भी करे तो नहीं हो पाएगा.
The Shiv Sena meanwhile accused the cops of acting on behest of the Fadnavis-run government.
जिस तरह से वो कार्यकर्ताओं को पकड़ रहे हैं, नोटिस दे रहे हैं, अरेस्ट कर रहे हैं, ये गलत है. ताकत तभी दिखानी चाहिए तभी कुछ अगर गलत हो. उन्होंने अगर मोर्चा निकाला और गलत कुछ किया रहेगा तो उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए. मगर मोर्चा निकालने से पहले अगर आप गलतियां कर रहे हो तो ये पुलिस की गलती है.
While the battle over Marathi pride raged on in the streets of Maharashtra, political war words also escalated. BJP MP Nishikant Dubey launched a blazing attack on MNS chief Raj Thakre.
तो हिम्मत है तो आप हिंदी भाषी को मारते हो तो उर्दू भाषी को भी मारो, तमिलियन को भी मारो, आप जो है तेलुगु वाले को भी मारो. बीएमसी का चुनाव होने वाला है और ये उद्धव ठाकरे और राज ठाकरे जो कर रहा है, इससे घटिया कोई काम नहीं हो सकता है.
Dubey's rather crass statement drew immediate counter from Shiv Sena UBT leader Sanjay Raut, who dared Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde.
मुझे आश्चर्य है महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री और उनके पूरे कैबिनेट का. एक आदमी भारतीय जनता पार्टी का सांसद वहाँ बैठकर महाराष्ट्र के बारे में, मराठी आदमी के बारे में, मराठी मानुस के बारे में घटिया बातें करता है और आप चुप बैठे हो.
The Congress finds itself in a tricky spot, with its ally Uddhav now reunited with cousin Raj Thakre. As a result, all the party can do now is condemn the violence against non-Marathis.
इस तरह से अगर आई फॉर ए आई एंड टूथ फॉर ए टूथ अगर पॉलिसी हम अपनाएंगे तो हमारे जो मराठी भाई जो उड़ीसा में, तमिलनाडु में, कर्नाटक में, जम्मू कश्मीर में काम करते, क्या उनकी भी पिटाई वहाँ होगी? ये बिल्कुल गलत बात है.
Bureau Report, India Today.
So now that the Marathi pride or Marathi language war has erupted in Maharashtra, what are the netas saying? I want to take you through one by one. Very interesting reactions that have come in. Let's begin with Uddhav Thackeray, primarily because Sena, if not has started it, has definitely been part of the escalation. We will not let the government impose the Hindi language on us, is what Uddhav Thackeray had said. Remember, this was also in the backdrop when the announcement was made that there wouldn't be a 3-language policy, it would only be 2. Now, of course, coming in to Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, who says pride in Marathi language is fine, but will not tolerate hooliganism, especially the violence that was being seen by the MNS cadre. Now comes in a comparison, for example, to the state of Tamil Nadu. Raj Thakre, the party leader whose workers on the ground have been pelting stones, have been slapping, targeting shopkeepers, innocent shopkeepers, and for no reason. He says, Tamil Nadu fights for its pride. We are a surrendered society. Strong words from Raj Thakre, no word on the hooliganism. Uddhav Thackeray adds, Marathi insult will not be tolerated. The question is, has there been an insult to the Marathi language here? Now, importantly, Raj Thakre comes in again. Both these brothers, remember, have united, been on the same stage. This issue has brought them together. Don't make a video. Hit and come out and then tell the world. An advice possibly to his cadre. After national pride, Marathi Asmita is closest to our hearts. This is what Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister, has to say. Raj Thackeray then turned more defiant, saying, yes, we are goons, if that's what it takes to get justice. A leader, remember, right now, neither in opposition, technically not really in ruling alliance as well, but definitely has become a part of the discourse here. So strong words, but remember, the government has said that they are not going to encourage hooliganism, violence. We're talking about the city of Mumbai after all, one of the biggest cosmopolitan cities of this country. There are people from different states also who are residing, working there. What example is set from the slapping, the attacking, the pelting stones that we've seen, and then the protest? Divyesh Singh continues to be with us. Divyesh, so I was also speaking to Minister Nitesh Rane a day ago, and they're promising that such, at least violent hooliganism would not be permitted in the name of Marathi language war. What are you picking up about the government strategy? Political discussion, debate on one side. What is being done to ensure the issue can be addressed without the violence and threats?
Well, if Pooja, if you see about the government, police did register an FIR for the attack on the Mira Road shopkeeper.
Okay.
That happened, and notices were served to the accused, and very soon charge sheet also will be filed. Though the BNS sections applied on the accused for assault are minor and arrest is not possible under those sections of the BNS, but they will be charge sheeted and they'll be tried in the court of law as per the BNS sections and as per CRPC. Other than that, there are other detentions also being carried out by police, as the MNS cadre was seen that they were very aggressive. Early in the morning at 3 a.m., Avinash Jadhav, the Thane and Palghar district head of MNS, was picked up and detained. There are several other MNS workers who were detained. There are other party supporters who were also given notices. So this is the kind of preventive action that the government is taking, that the police is taking to ensure that there is no law and order situation. And after the Mira Road incident, there hasn't been any law and order situation which has come to light. Also, it is the request of the government and the police machinery that no one should indulge. If they want to protest, they can protest, they can register their protest, they can express themselves, but should not attack or violently assault anyone for the purpose of language or for the sake of the Marathi language issue.
Divyesh, thank you very much for now for all these details and updates of what has happened. Remember that the opposition has every right to raise the issues they believe in, but the government is the one that will have to ensure that there is peace that prevails, and even if issues that are raised and escalated, can anyone go and start slapping and threatening in the name of the language pride? And that is something which can cater to law and order issues as well. Like we've seen multiple videos on your screen in the past few days, whether it's in a bank or a shop or in any other area where they realize that the individual is unable to speak in the Marathi language, gets slapped, insulted, humiliated. Videos are recorded and circulated. Now, if you're wondering if this issue, if this controversy has any sort of an attention and is attracting the audience, that they are part of it, they believe that this issue needs to be raised. We looked at the linguistic landscape of especially Mumbai. Now, what does it show? Marathi language clearly is most widely spoken, about 35.3%. Look at the graph on your screen. 35.3%, which is a large, one of the massive sections of Mumbai city, do speak in the Marathi language, about 4 million. Hindi language comes close enough. It's also a link language, remember, for people of different states, about 25.9%, about 3.6 million individuals. And remember, this also has come in from generations who've been living here. But also Gujarati, very important, especially the entrepreneur section, those involved in business and trade from the Gujarati community, 20.4%, 2.64 million people at least. Now here comes in the interesting bit. There are Urdu-speaking individuals as well from certain groups, 11.7%, 1.45 million at least, largely from the Muslim community. This is what the BJP had raked in to say, why aren't they targeting the Urdu-speaking and only whether Hindi-speaking or other languages? It's because they're scared to go into areas where Urdu is widely spoken. There are Tamilians as well. And remember, that also was an issue years ago, in fact, when Bal Thackeray was alive, that there were similar controversies and attacks that had happened, largely targeted against the Tamil-speaking population. 2.4%, Telugu as much 1.6%, Malayalam 1%, and Tamilian primarily were the largest group and continue to do so with regard to the southern states. There are Bengali-speaking families as well. 1.1% is the population. And we are quoting from different news reports to help you understand. But what does this largely show you? That definitely there are massive Marathi-speaking individuals, people from Maharashtra, but it's after all a massive cosmopolitan city. It's the city of Mumbai, where it is called the city of dreams as well. Let's move on, but with the issue that's cropping up here, nationwide outrage erupted after this video went viral. A VVIP brat drunk on power. Following India Today's relentless campaign for justice, Mumbai's Amboli police have filed an FIR against this man. Semi-naked, clearly intoxicated, goes on an abusive rant. His name is Rahil Sheikh, and he happens to be the son of MNS State Vice President Javed Sheikh. Rahil Sheikh was questioned for over 6 hours in his father's presence. He has admitted to being in an inebriated state, was drunk, threatening and abusing a woman, and the woman, of course, turned even more confrontational. That's the woman influencer on screen. She's been very defiant, and she was the one speaking in Marathi, giving it back to this drunk man on power who happened to be from the MNS. A report on that.
अरे तर माझा बाप ना महाराष्ट्र राज्य उपाध्यक्ष आहे.
तुझा बाप महाराष्ट्राचा अध्यक्ष आहे.
हा
कोण? मनसेवाले.
हा
माझ्यावर गाडी चढवायला
अरे ताई
होता.
जा ना. अरे इसके पैसे देऊ का 150 खाली मध्ये.
Drunk, half naked, abusive, flaunting his dad's political power. This is how Rahil Sheikh, son of MNS Vice President Javed Sheikh, made the news, ramming his car into that of a woman and threatening her when confronted. After India Today's relentless coverage, Mumbai police was forced to act. Rahil was grilled for 6 hours, with Daddy Dearest sitting right beside him. And finally, Rahil cracked, admitting to drinking and misbehaving. Now claims he regrets it. But the woman he abused, influencer Rajeshri More, isn't buying the sorry act.
आज तू माझी गाडी ठोकतोयस, आपल्या बापाची धमकी देतोयस तू मला.
माफ करा ना.
माफी नको आहे.
Backed by Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Nirupam, she has filed a fresh complaint alleging threat calls from MNS workers trying to silence her.
मुझे हरास किया गया, मुझे मेरा व्यवसाय तोड़ने के लिए धमकियां दी गई. ओशिवरा पुलिस स्टेशन में 200 लोग लेके आए गए मेरे अगेंस्ट. उसके बाद ठीक एक दिन के बाद मेरी ही गाड़ी को उसी पार्टी का एक आदमी इतनी बुरी तरीके से मुझे टारगेट करता है, मेरी गाड़ी के साथ एक्सीडेंट करता है. उसके बाद मुझे गालियां देता है, मुझे धमकियां देता है.
An FIR has now been registered on charges of drunken driving, rash and negligent behavior, outraging a woman's modesty and endangering public safety.
देखिए, जो इंसिडेंट हुआ था उससे रिलेटेड पुलिस ने एफआईआर ली है, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली जितने भी सेक्शंस हैं सारे बेलेबल ऑफेंसेस हैं, जितने भी ऑफेंसेस हैं सारे बेलेबल है. तो जो भी कार्रवाई, जिस तरह की सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए थी वो नहीं हुई है. तो अभी उनका 164 का स्टेटमेंट वगैरह रिकॉर्ड होने के बाद चार्जशीट फाइल होगी, केस तो रहेगा.
राजश्री मोरे मैडम के साथ कल परसों जो दुर्व्यवहार किया गया, एक नौजवान शराब की नशा में धुत था, अर्धनग्न था, और वो मनसे का नाम लेके इनको लगातार गाली दे रहा था, धमकी दे रहा था. आज हम यहाँ पे मोरे मैडम को लेकर यहाँ आए हैं ताकि सरकार की तरफ से, पुलिस की तरफ से न्याय मिले.
The evidence is on tape. The police knows the culprit. Now Maharashtra wants to know, will this VVIP brat be punished or will power win again? Bureau Report, India Today.
अरे इसके पैसे देऊ का 150 खाली मध्ये.
So we witnessed about the reports coming in from Mumbai about the serious concerns, tensions that are prevailing. But I asked this evening on 5 Live, what are the biggest issues for Maharashtra, for specifically the city of Mumbai? Are these the issues that have been cropping up in the past few days, or are the real issues, the one that impact one and all. Issues like potholes, a huge nightmare for the Mumbaikars. People have fallen in these open potholes and died. In one of our biggest cosmopolitan city, people are still dreaming of smooth roads. Waterlogging, for example, one spell of rain, Mumbaikars are forced to navigate their way, facing massive inconvenience, danger to life in our super popular Hindi film industry hub. Apart from that, there is high rent, soaring real estate prices in the biggest financial hub of the country. While these are the issues to be addressed, look what the hangama has been over. Can you speak in Marathi? And if not, are you truly then from Maharashtra? MNS is grabbing all the headlines. First, Raj Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray on the same page for Maratha pride, now for the recent Gundaism. So my question is that all a coincidence that Brihan Mumbai municipal elections are due this year in the city? BMC elections are survival test for every party, most importantly for state-specific parties. So is this really a Marathi language war, a matter of pride, sentiments? But from our netas, is it becoming a ploy for them to become relevant again? Think about it. Let's move on now. In view of the Kavadi Yatra that begins on 11th of July, Delhi Minister Kapil Mishra announced that meat shops along the Yatra route will remain shut during the period. Meanwhile, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath conducted an aerial survey from Ghaziabad to Bijnor, directing strict action against any attempt to defile the Yatra, including acts like, and there have been allegations, if there has been spitting in the food. He's emphasized the need for top-notch arrangements for cleanliness, electricity, lighting, essential services such as tents, food stalls, clean drinking water and support from NGOs. So what is happening in preparation? Food Safety and Drug Administration officials inspected shops in Chenhat, collecting even samples, testing them in the Food Safety on Wheels van, where adulteration was demonstrated through chemical reactions.
डिप्लॉयमेंट हमने 770 लोगों को डिप्लॉय कर रखा है। इसके अलावा जो हमारा रिजर्व है वो अलग से रहेगा। आउटसाइड फोर्स की अभी हमने प्रेजेंटली डिमांड कर रखी है, हमको अभी प्रेजेंटली अलॉट नहीं हुई। जैसे ही अलॉट हो जाएगी हम उनको भी साथ में ही डिप्लॉय कर देंगे। हमने 6 कंपनी आउटसाइड फोर्स पर शिफ्ट मांग रखी है। ड्रोन अब हर अरेंजमेंट का पार्ट है, हर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के अरेंजमेंट का पार्ट है। हर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर में ड्रोन का भी हम पूरा इस्तेमाल करते हैं। 18 कैंप्स हमारे यहाँ पर रहेंगे कावड़ के, और उन कावड़ कैंप्स के अलोंग साइड बाय साइड हम डेडिकेटेड पाथ कावड़्स को देंगे।
कांवड़ यात्रा शुरू होने से पहले ही पश्चिम उत्तर प्रदेश में कम से कम निर्देश जारी कर दिए गए हैं कि जो कांवड़ का मार्ग है वहां पर जो मीट मांस की दुकानें हैं, मछली की दुकानें, उन्हें बंद किया जाए। अब दिल्ली में पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा है। दिल्ली सरकार के मंत्री कपिल मिश्रा कह रहे हैं कि इस बार कांवड़ के जो मार्ग हैं वहां पर मीट मछली बंद रहेगी, लोगों की श्रद्धा को देखते हुए। अलबत्ता तो मंत्री का ये भी कहना है कि ज्यादातर दुकानें दिल्ली में जो मीट मांस बना रही हैं वो अवैध हैं, लेकिन ऐसे कई सारी सड़कें हैं जहां से इक्का दुक्का भी संख्या में गुजरे हैं, वहां पर बड़े बड़े बाजार हैं। मसलन जहां हम निजामुद्दीन में हैं, आमतौर पर अगर देखें तो ये फुल फ्लेज कांवड़ यात्रा नहीं गुजरती, लेकिन कुछ लोग यहाँ गुजरते हैं। 500 मीटर के रेडियस में कई बार कैंप लगते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पर ऐसी दुकानें हैं और ऐसे में उन दुकानों की 1 महीने के भविष्य पर, उनकी रोजी रोटी पर यह सवाल है कि कहीं उनको दुकान बंद तो नहीं करनी पड़ेगी 1 महीने में, क्योंकि इसके पहले दिल्ली में कभी ऐसा हुआ नहीं। हालांकि अभी तक इन दुकानदारों का कहना है कि इन्हें कोई नोटिस नहीं मिला, लेकिन जब सरकार ने बयान जारी किया है कि वो नगर निगम से कहेंगे कि इस बारे में आदेश पारित करें, अभी तक मीट मछली की दुकानों को ऐसा कोई आदेश मिला नहीं है लिखित कि उन्हें दुकान बंद करनी पड़े। लेकिन ऐसा लग रहा है कि इस बार दिल्ली में सरकार बदली है तो नियम भी बदलेंगे। कांवड़ यात्रा के दौरान मीट मछली की दुकानों को बंद करने के आदेश जारी हो सकते हैं।
So as India Today TV has reached inside the mobile van of FSDA, you can see how the food items are being, the samples of them are being experimented out here. This is the sweet item, and to understand whether it's good to eat or not, the inspection process, the experimental process is currently on. As you see the FSDA officers inside this particular food van, and it's not just about this particular thing. You see a lot of masalas out here, chutney, namak, salt, everything out here, and these samples are being collected by the FSDA officers, and that's how they are dealing with this particular thing. As CM Yogi Adityanath has given the order for the proper food, he has talked about the quality of food. That means the gulvatta. He has stressed on the gulvatta, the quality of food, and that's why FSDA team is ensuring that particular thing, not just the identity purpose, but the focus is also on the quality of food. And that's why you see it from the ground that we are reporting from inside the lab to make you understand what all is being done to make your food full of quality, not just for you but also for, especially for the Kamadiyas who will be coming here from July 11. With cameraman Gaurav Gupta, Samarth Srivastava for India Today. We are present at the Chinhat Tiraha near the Deva Road from where Kamadiyas will go, and near that dhaba the eateries are being inspected by the FSDA team. And if you see in the visuals that the officers of FSDA team are writing the identity, the address, registration number, everything around the shops, which was missing for years, for months. But after UP government's new order, you can see at the inspection thing, the various amount of things, various amounts of elements. You can clearly get the sense how it is being pasted around the shops out here, and this is the best version of showing the identity. And if you have any doubt regarding the food item being served here whatsoever, you can just open the Google Lens on your mobile phone, be it Android or iPhone, and just you can clearly scan on this particular portion. Number 1 is for Android, number 2 is for iPhone, and once you'll scan, you will get the sense to complain. This is the Ram Vilas Sahu's shop out here, and this is another interesting picture out here. If you see in the visuals clearly, in my front, 3 kind of masalas, in which one is salt, this is one chutney, and if it is fresh or not, or worth eating or not, that's why the FSDA team has collected these samples and now will move to the van to do the sampling. And right here the action procedure is currently on with the FSDA team.
भी देखा गया कि भारी संख्या में जो कावड़िए हैं यहाँ पर पहुँचते हैं, आपके खिलाफ नारेबाजी करते हैं और आरोप लगाते हैं कि आपके ढाबे के खाने से प्याज निकला था।
सर अभी जो है ना आज 7 तारीख है, ये प्रोग्राम जो है ना अभी सर 8 दिन से तो बिल्कुल कावड़िए नहीं थे। कल शाम से ही सर आए हैं, तो यहाँ पे जो कारीगर रात में था उसने अपना काम बंद करके वो चला गया सर। हेल्पर था तो वो इतनी बात पूछ भी लिया था सर उसने, पता नहीं मेरी तो उससे बात नहीं हुई। तो देखो मैं भी मीडिया से रिटायरमेंट हूँ, अगर सेफ्टी के साथ ही काम करूँगा, नहीं तो मैं नहीं करूँगा, क्योंकि मैं तो अपना गवर्नमेंट अपना कर ही रही है, क्योंकि सेफ्टी प्रिकॉशंस का हमारे यहाँ जो है पूरा ये रखा जाता है सर। और मैंने कुछ फार्म भरे थे सर, ये ना पुलिस इंक्वायरी के लिए भी कुछ इसमें ये नहीं है भाई कोई किसी के साथ कोई धोखाधड़ी, ये बिल्कुल नहीं, मैं खुद नहीं मानता सर।
अच्छा, तो अभी पुलिस ने आपको क्या
सब है?
पुलिस ने आपको अभी क्या?
पुलिस ने कहा भैया बंद कर दो, तो हमने बंद कर दिया सर। हाँ ये है, काम होगा तो देखो सेफ्टी के साथ होगा, नहीं तो एक पैसा मुझे भी नहीं चाहिए।
हम सभी का सम्मान करते हैं और सबके धार्मिक कार्यक्रम विधिवत सकुशल संपन्न हो, ये सरकार की जिम्मेदारी है। और किसी भी स्थिति में किसी का कोई मान सम्मान को नुकसान न पहुंचे और सबको हम साथ लेकर के चलेंगे। हर स्थिति में जो अभी कांवड़ यात्रा चल रही है, सनातन धर्म मानने वालों को कोई दिक्कत न हो, कांवड़ यात्रा के दौरान कहीं समस्या न आए, और उसकी स्थिति से बढ़ने के लिए सरकार पूरी तरह से सतर्क होकर काम कर रही है।
मैं इतना ही कहना चाहूँगा उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार से, योगी जी से, कि कांवड़ यात्रा निश्चित तौर से जैसे शांतिपूर्वक तरीके से चली आ रही है सैकड़ों साल हजारों साल, कुछ कराइए। अनावश्यक उसको तोल देने की जरूरत, कि नेम प्लेट लगाइए, आप किसी के कपड़े उतारिए, ये सब चीज़ें केवल और केवल अपनी नाकामी को छिपाने के लिए, अपनी जो कमियां हैं उसको छिपाने के लिए हिंदू और मुसलमान, मुसलमान और हिंदू, ये काम न करिए।
So clearly a matter of sensitivity as well, sentiments, and in the past few years we have also seen some incidents of violence, and that has raised a question as well on the kind of aggressive nature that has come in during the yatra as well. But you need to also understand what is the Kawad Yatra. It's an auspicious sacred pilgrimage, bare feet walking kilometers, and that is basically in the honor and worshipping Lord Shiva. So Akshita Nandgopal, my colleague, helps explain what is the Kawad Yatra for you to really know, and the route on which the yatris walk.
Lakhs of people walking barefoot, clothed in saffron, with bamboo sticks balanced on their shoulders. If you've seen these images and often wondered who they are, where they're headed to, let's break it all down for you. These are Hindu devotees or Kavadiyas who take part in an annual pilgrimage called the Kawad Yatra. As part of this yatra, devotees walk thousands of kilometers with the bare necessities living on the road. The Kavad Yatra is primarily a pilgrimage for devotees of Lord Shiva who undertake this journey to express their devotion to seek his blessings. So during the annual pilgrimage, these devotees walk all the way to holy sites like Haridwar, Gaumukh and Gangotri. Essentially, the journey is to the banks of the Ganges. The Kavadiyas make this journey to collect holy water from the Ganges. They collect the water in massive vessels which is hung on either side of a bamboo stick over their shoulders, and that's what's referred to as a kavad, hence the word Kavad Yatra. Once they reach their destination, they collect this water and then carry it back to their local Shiva temple. So what's the significance of this gesture? Kavad Yatra is related to the churning of the ocean of milk in the Hindu Puranas. Shiva consumed poison that was burning the world, but after consuming it, he started suffering from the negative energy of the poison. So Shiva's devout follower Rama brought holy water of Ganga by using this kavad and poured it on Shiva's temple. This ensured Shiva's release from the negative energy of the poison. Kavadiyas have several rules to follow while they are on this journey. They must maintain purity in all aspects of their journey. So thoughts, words, actions, all matters. They cannot consume alcohol, cannot consume tobacco or other intoxicants at this time. They're also not allowed any contact with leather, which is why they do the entire journey barefoot. Also, no luxuries. They're not allowed to sleep on beds or cots. They must sleep on the ground during this time. Once a Kavadiya fills the kavad with water, the vessels that I told you about, he or she cannot place it on the ground. If it does touch the ground, the journey then must begin from scratch, must be restarted. The yatra is traditionally held during the month of Shravan, also known as Sawan, which is considered particularly auspicious for worshipping Lord Shiva. This usually falls sometime in the months of July to August. While most pilgrims, most Kavadiyas are men, a few women also participate in the yatra, and most travel the entire distance on foot. You will see a few traveling also on bicycles, motorbikes, scooters, even mini trucks or jeeps. Numerous Hindu organizations at this time set up camps along the national highways for the yatra. Food, shelter, medical aid is provided. This time, the Kavad Yatra is for 13 days from July 11th to July 23rd.
All right, staying now with Uttar Pradesh, there's been a crackdown on illegal conversion rackets in the state. It continues with the demolition of the alleged mastermind Changur Baba's mansion in Balarampur. Officials have said that the building was illegal, served allegedly as a hub for religious conversions where people, especially the youth, were lured with false promises. Changur Baba and his aide, one Nasreen, were arrested by the ATS in Lucknow last Saturday. They are facing charges of fraud, illegal conversion and conspiracy as well. STF findings revealing that the group received about 100 crore rupees in foreign funding, offering a fixed payout like 15-16 lakh rupees for converting someone from the Brahmin caste, the highest reward possibly if you manage to convert them. Even if there is someone from the Sikh community or Kshatriya women, there would be a reward of about 15 to 16 lakh rupees. 10 to 12 lakh rupees for the one who's converting as well. For OBCs, 8 to 10 lakh rupees for other caste groups they are ready to convert. Reacting to the move, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has said there is no place for those who dissolve peace, harmony and women's safety in the state. He's added that such people will be punished according to the law.
छांगुर बाबा और उनके सहयोगियों पर ATS, STF, ED का शिकंजा कसने के बाद जिला प्रशासन आज छांगुर बाबा की कोठी पर बुलडोजर की कार्रवाई करवा रही है। जिस तरह आप देख रहे हैं कि 3 JCB की सहायताओं से इस अवैध कोठी को तोड़ा जा रहा है। सुबह से ही प्रशासन इस काम में लगा हुआ है। पहले इस ज़मीनों की पैमाइश की गई, पैमाइश के बाद जो भी अवैध अतिक्रमण इस तरीके से बनाया गया था उसको ध्वस्त किया जा रहा है, ध्वस्तीकरण की कार्रवाई की जा रही है। लगातार पुलिस बल और APSC मौके पर मौजूद है। एडिशनल SP और SP तमाम आला अधिकारी मौजूद हैं। SDM की देखरेख में ये कार्रवाई की जा रही है। सुबह से ही इस तरीके से इसको पहले अवैध कोठी को गिराने के लिए लगातार 3 नोटिस चस्पा किए गए थे।
ऐसा कि सरकार की सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है कि जो भी अवैध अतिक्रमण करता है या बाकी प्रकृति के लोग जो सरकारी भूमियों पर कब्जा कर लेते हैं उनके विरुद्ध कार्रवाई की जाए। इसी के क्रम में आज कार्रवाई की जा रही है और अवैध कब्जे को हटाकर सरकारी भूमि को मुक्त कराया जाए।
Intense rainfall has caused flooding, landslide and cloudbursts in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. I want to take you through some of the dramatic visuals that are coming in, reflective of the aftermath. Look at that heavy rainfall in Himachal has been for the last 16 days. 80 people have died at least, over 100 injured, 38 missing. In Kangra, for example, overflowing rivers are even flooding roads that remain. Crucial highways are blocked. Across the state, 235 roads remain closed due to the traffic. Heavy overnight rainfall. Look at that. This is Chamoli in Uttarakhand. Moksha River overflowing, causing severe destruction in the village. Several homes damaged. Villagers had to flee overnight to safety. Locals have urged the administration to at least visit the site, assess the damage that they are facing. This is Himachal's Chura region, triggering a flash flood-like condition in the Pangola stream. The road has been cut off. There is no access right now. No lives were lost, thankfully, but the sudden surge of water has led to significant disruption and inconvenience. Different areas coming in. This is, as you're looking at, Dehradun, causing a drain to overflow, submerging homes and streets, forcing the residents to flee. Flooding eased only by early morning. So Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh, our beautiful hill states, are currently facing not the first time, but it's a reminder of what really nature's fury is. Aman Bhardwaj is joining me from Mandi. This is Himachal Pradesh. Aman, what is the current status? Can you show us around? What are the people saying? And what is the weather like right now there?
See, Pooja, from last 2 days, the weather was main concern for the people, and we are here at Thunag in Mandi, and this is the main market of Thunag, and this is, you see, after the flash flood, this is 10 to 15 feet, the debris that has been here in the market, and after the flash flood, the trees, the sand, stones, and even the mud with the flash flood, all the debris went into the shops. Even here, there are banks, schools, colleges, jewelry shops, all the main network that operates in the local villages here from Thunag is all disturbed, is all been shut now, and people are into a shock that the night of 29th of June they can't forget, and now also you see they are taking the blankets, they are taking the rations to the place they have been residing. They have taken shelter into the relief camps, and from last 8 days, no visit by the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu, is being made here. He came to the helipad, he distributed the ration over there, but people here are more concerning that if Jairam Thakur, the former CM, can visit the place, why not the present government, why not the Chief Minister now? But PWD Minister Vikramaditya, Member Parliament from here, Kangana Ranaut, they visited the place. They raised the concern that they will definitely help out people, but when and how, it's still not clear. And you see the JCB big machine has been working, that also been placed by the people here on individual basis, but on the administration level there's only help with the ration and the relief camp, but no financial or monetary help is being given to the people. Still here 10 to 15,000 people are majorly affected. 500 approx houses are majorly affected in Thunag area and local villages of
Let's
Deji,
compare.
Pakror.
Where you
some
are
of the
standing
villages
right
of
now, I
Siran.
believe would have been a busy marketplace barely a few hours ago, and I can't see debris that have entered into the shops and areas. If you can possibly go closer to some of these locations for the viewer to understand. A busy marketplace, residential area a few hours ago. Currently, we can see the kind of damage that has happened and what would have happened at that time.
Exactly, because each and every picture here, Pooja, shows the reality, and it's heart-wrenching. And you see, this is the motorbike, for example, and it's we are at 8 to 10 feet above on the debris, and this is a handle of a motorcycle. And you see, we'll show you the closer picture. This is the jewelry shop, and how still there's a debris. Even half of it is being cleared, but even the lockers or all the decoration that was made here is been totally damaged by the flash flood that occurred after the cloudburst in Mandi. And there were 13 cloudbursts in Mandi, and you see here also people even are left with no money, no documents, no belongings to even they don't have clothes to wear. They are only into the things they were,
To talk a
and
quick
they
word,
only saved
what
their
the
life.
residents
And,
saw
we'll
in
show you
Himachal Pradesh, where netas cannot go, India Today is on the ground to speak to people. Go ahead, Aman, if they are comfortable, if they want to articulate what happened.
बताना चाहेंगे क्या हुआ था, आपका कहाँ घर है?
हमारा घर तो सुंदरनगर में है, पर हम यहाँ कई सालों से अपना बिजनेस करते हैं।
किस चीज का काम था आपका, कितना नुकसान हुआ?
मैं तो सिलाई का काम करती हूँ, टेलर मास्टर हूँ, और मेरे हस्बैंड जूते की शॉप थी यहाँ पे, और हमारा बहुत ज्यादा नुकसान हुआ है।
घर भी आपका यहाँ पे था, दुकान भी थी?
घर हमारा सुंदरनगर, हम यहाँ रेंट पे रहते थे।
कितना मलबा आया दुकान में?
दुकान में तो सारी बहुत नुकसान है, पूरी भर गई है, बिल्कुल कुछ नहीं बचा हमारा। तो
कोई आया, मुलाकात की किसी ने अभी तक?
नहीं, अभी तो कुछ नहीं।
आप ये राशन लेकर जा रहे हैं?
नहीं, ये है और का ना, हम गए थे काम पर, ये है और का राशन।
So here आप यही लोकल हैं जी?
मैं डिस्ट्रिक्ट मंडी से आया हूँ। यहाँ पे
कितना नुकसान आप यहाँ पे हुआ है लोगों को?
यहाँ पे तो बहुत ज्यादा नुकसान हुआ है सर, कम से कम जो है लाखों करोड़ों के हिसाब से ही है। मैं भी मंडी से जो है अपने गांव से जो है लोगों की ऐसे हेल्प करने के लिए यहाँ।
So here to each one, even Pooja, you will talk. They have a stories here. There was a 4-story building of a teacher, and he lost everything, and he was into tears when we asked that how come this building been washed away. So he saved by his lifetime saving. He got 30 lakhs rupees to purchase a new land, but after this flash flood, it all went with the tragedy. And here people, आप भी यहीं से सर? किस चीज का काम है आपका?
मेरी सर यहाँ ये दुकान है नी, ये सारी जो है क्षतिग्रस्त हो गई।
किस चीज की दुकान है?
इसमें 3 शटर है ना जी मेरे, एक में मोबाइल था, एक में जो है रेडीमेड कपड़े थे, एक में सुनैर था जी।
कोई मदद मिली, पैसा मिला?
अभी तक कुछ नहीं।
खाना वगैरह कैसे खा रहे हैं आप?
खाना वगैरह खा रहे हैं सर, अब घर में ही खा रहे हैं। मेरा घर थोड़ा ऊपर जैसा नहीं।
सरकार की मांग ये भी है कि यहाँ से कहीं दूसरी जगह बसाया जाए।
नहीं सर, ऐसी मांग हमने अभी तक नहीं की है। हाँ, इतना उन्होंने जरूर कहा है कि भाई इस जगह को छोड़ दो, कहीं दूसरी जगह में आप मकान।
Aman, ask them how did they escape? What happened in that moment?
10 फुट मलबा है दुकान के ऊपर जी, बस। हाँ जी।
कैसे हुआ था रात को, आप कहाँ थे जब ये हादसा हुआ, तो और कैसे बचे आप?
यहाँ पर हम नहीं थे सर जी।
अच्छा,
हम तो दूसरे घर में होते हैं। यहाँ जो था उस टाइम सारा
थे यहाँ पे जब
मैं भी अपने पुराने घर में था पूरा।
आप थे यहाँ पे जब हादसा हुआ, तो आपने कैसे अपनी जान बचाई?
नहीं, 10:15 बजे के आसपास से खाना खा के हम सोने ही वाले थे, उतने को जैसे आवाज वगैरह हुई ना काफी, तो जैसे मैं घर से बाहर निकला और मेरा घर पूरा एक उसमें बह गया। फिर वहाँ से मैं क्रॉस होके अपने बड़े ताऊ जी के घर गया, फिर वहाँ से यहाँ ऊपर एक स्कूल है, फिर वो रात को हम स्कूल में ठहरे।
कितना फुट पानी था यहाँ से जहाँ हम खड़े हैं?
पानी तकरीबन इस साइड तो इतना था ना, ये शटर की लेवल पे 10 से 12 फुट। और ये जो खड्ड है, ये खड्ड का लेवल भी 33 kb के आसपास था ना, बिल्कुल। ये जो पुल लगा हुआ ना, पुल को भी टच कर रहा था।
तो अभी कहाँ रह रहे हैं, क्या खा रहे हैं, कैसे?
Aman, keep getting these voices. So this, remember, is a reminder that there's a reason India Today is on the ground to get you these voices from Himachal and Uttarakhand, where these flash floods in our hill states have caused so much havoc. For some reason, leaders find it difficult to go. India Today has reached the ground and getting you the people's voices, and we'll be tracking that from our hill states as well. Aman, thank you very much for now. I'll keep coming back to you. But it's not just about Himachal and Uttarakhand. I want to now take you to the United States of America. Hope is fading in Texas. Flood waters receding, but there's been widespread destruction, and the rising death toll specifically includes children. There were student camps being organized. Many girl students have been missing, many confirmed dead. And amid all of this, there have been prayers. A girls' retreat that was swept away has led to a lot of grief, especially in Texas. I want you to take a look at that report.
Receding floodwaters revealed a trail of damage and destruction across Kerrville, Texas on Monday, as emergency responders continued their search for dozens of missing people in the area. Kerrville's mayor, Joe Herring Jr., spoke to reporters at a briefing Monday morning.
This will be a rough week. Primary search continues, and we remain hopeful every foot, every mile, every bend of the river.
The death toll from Friday's catastrophic flooding surpassed 100 people on Monday, according to several media reports, and officials said they expected it to rise. At least 27 campers and counselors from Camp Mystic were among those who perished. Officials said several others were still missing from the nearly century-old Christian Girls Retreat, which rests on the banks of the Guadalupe River. In a statement released Monday, the camp said, quote, "Our hearts are broken alongside our families that are enduring this unimaginable tragedy." In Kingsland, Texas, this time-lapse footage taken by an eyewitness shows raging floodwaters rising over a causeway, completely submerging it in the span of a few minutes. Some experts questioned whether cuts to the federal workforce by the Trump administration made it harder for officials to accurately predict the severity of the floods and issue appropriate warnings ahead of the storm. Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz addressed the issue on Monday.
I think this is not a time for partisan finger-pointing and attacks. Now, after we come through search and rescue, after we come through the process of rebuilding, there will naturally be a period of retrospection where you look back and say, okay, what exactly transpired? What was the timeline? And what could have been done differently to prevent this loss of life?
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, meanwhile, asked a government watchdog to investigate whether budget cuts contributed to any delays or inaccuracy in forecasting the floods.
I want to now tell you about India and the USA negotiating a bilateral trade agreement. While the discussions have concluded, they've set a deadline to conclude the first tranche by September-October this year. Before that, the two countries aim to finalize an interim trade deal at least. But after imposing fresh tariff on 14 countries and sending out letters, President Trump has stated that tariff talks with India are ongoing. He's also added that for other countries, the tariffs are non-negotiable and called it the final deal. According to government sources, India has put their best foot forward. They're not willing to compromise on sensitive sectors like agriculture and dairy, and the discussions will be ongoing as well. Amid all of this, remember, India is also seeking a full waiver from the 26% trade tariff that was announced by Trump administration. Despite the differences, India is willing to lower the tariff on textiles, leather and pharma, and cites food security as a priority for India.
We're close to making a deal with India. Others we met with, and we don't think we're going to be able to make a deal, so we just send them a letter. If you want to play ball, you have to. This is what you have to pay. So as far as I'm concerned, we're done. We're sending out letters to various countries, telling them how much tariffs they have to pay. Some will maybe adjust a little bit, depending if they have a cause. We're not going to be unfair about it.
Our focus has been on FTAs with all the advanced countries. We entered into an FTA with UAE, Australia, UK, the 4 EFTA countries. We're in active dialogue with the United States of America for a bilateral trade agreement, which the two leaders, President Trump and Prime Minister Modi, announced in February 2025.
As I wrap up 5 Live for the day, I want to leave you with image of the day, and it's coming from Indonesia. Mount Leotobi Laki-Laki has erupted, and at one point shooting an ash cloud 18 kilometers into the sky, residents fleeing their home. No reports of casualties yet when the volcano on the island of Flores began spewing ash and lava again. Authorities have placed it on the highest alert level. At least 24 flights to and from the neighboring resort island of Bali have been affected and cancelled. Leaving you with these visuals. Thank you for watching.